Boyle. Welcome to the call. I'll keep admitting people as they come in here. Good to have you guys here. So I know a lot of you. We sent out the video beforehand. Who's excited to learn a little bit about AI avatars?
Me.
Liz Candy. I mean, did anybody come on? Thank you, Heidi. So I think you guys come on. I hope you all saw the correlations between. We're at 40 years now since Arnold Schwarzenegger came out with the Terminator movies. So I would hope that you saw some of my references there. I always reference movies. My kids think that I'm really intelligent, and then of course they start to watch some of the old movies, to them the old movies, and they start to recognize that what I've been doing is just quoting old movies this whole time, so I don't sound nearly as creative. But 40 years ago, we had the Terminator come out, and I still think a lot of entrepreneurs are afraid of AI. I met a guy that was recently going through it, and how afraid he was to put anything of his business in there because he didn't think that it was going to maintain his personality. He was afraid of just so many different things. Then he started to use it, and then he couldn't believe how useful it was. So I hope most of you are past that stage, and you're more in the stage of understanding that I want to be able to help you take advantage of all of that's out there. So I'm going to share my screen. Love to have your questions as you've got them today, but be sure you put them in the chat. Doesn't matter where you're calling from. Put any of your questions that you have in there, and I'm excited to show some of these things to you guys. But realistically, if you don't start adopting some of these and getting more and more advanced, you're really going to put yourself in a situation that you're going to really be missing out. I'm going to show you Bimoto right here, and be sure you stop me. Be sure if you have any questions that you put them in there, and I'll answer them the best I can as I go through the different screens here. But within Bimoto, one of the main things that I teach people is the importance of training your avatar. My avatar, Jeffery AI, knows me extraordinarily well. And I'm going to go into the avatar section. And on different platforms, people may call them GPTs. They may call them whatever they want. But I have trained my avatar on just about everything imaginable on me. Everything from my offers to the types of books that I like to read, such as Science of Getting Rich or As a Man Thinketh. I've trained it on trigger words. So, for example, when I first started doing social media, I was super safe. I'm a lawyer. My dad was a judge. He was always warning us to be really careful with everything. But just out of curiosity to all of you out there, how well does safe social media work? Anyone want to put their opinion in there? Raise your voice. How well does safe social media work? Silence. Okay. You get about 2 views. You never get any kind of virality to it. And since I've started to implement some of these practices, I can tell you I've gone viral on TikTok. I regularly on Instagram get between 10 and 20,000 views. Sometimes I'll get 100, 150. My YouTube, I've had videos go over 1 million views on YouTube. Doesn't matter which platform it is. When you do it properly, even on X, I've had some different posts that do well over 100,000 views on them. So it doesn't matter which platform you're on. You have to start to learn how to bring attention to what you're doing. And boring doesn't do it. So I've trained my avatar to use trigger words, and the trigger words are to get people to react. I'm never out there just to hurt anybody, but it doesn't use boring words. I've added all kinds of different questions, sales questions, we help a lot of people get business grants. So it doesn't matter what background you have. I try to make sure that it really understands me. And I've also added into it, every time I do something that I like its output, I'll add it right in here. Everything, my brand style to the content creation, how we help people raise capital. Needless to say, Jeffery AI gets me. And Jeffery AI now allows me a lot of freedom in a lot of different areas. So let me show you a conversation I had with Jeffery AI before we came on. And I'll explain to you why this is so important that you start to understand a lot of these different things that are in there. So now that I've trained it, I just started the conversation off right before we came on. I just said, "Who are you?" He, my AI knows himself as Jeffery AI, and he's here to assist me in creating diverse content. And I tell him, "Tell me what you know about me." He knows that I've started over or helped over 20 different companies, and those companies now have done over $1 billion in sales. He knows that I have a Juris Doctorate and that I've earned millions of dollars in commissions in a lot of different markets. He knows that I've achieved remarkable success in different businesses that I founded. So it doesn't matter. And he said, "You're often referred to as a millionaire maker." I called myself that the other day on an article, and I posted it in there. So now my avatar keeps calling me the millionaire maker. Really nice. So whenever I need to feel good about myself, I just ask Jeffery AI a little bit about me, and he makes me feel pretty good. But I said, "What type of content can you create for me?" Blog posts, webinars, social media, went through a whole topic of them. And he said, "This is what you like to talk about: entrepreneurial mindset, practical marketing strategies, AI and technology, success stories, and motivational content." And how does he know that? Anyone want to give a guess on how he knows that's the type of stuff that I like to output?
From your posts?
Yeah, every time I do something that I like, I send it over right here inside of this. I just share it with my avatar right here, and I'll put on their example post. So he knows very well what I like. Uh, he knows what he makes for me on a regular basis. Here's what I hope you guys get excited about. I asked him, what are the things that are going to be coming to Bimoto in the years to come, the months to come, the weeks and months to come. Some of these may not mean something to you, but they're extraordinarily exciting. Reiterative machine learning. So it's going to take feedback and suggestions and give you suggestions on how to improve your content that you're outputting based upon what your competitor is doing and based upon what your target market's looking for. That'll be expensive to create, but we're super excited to make it. Advanced marketing content creation, sentiment analysis, to be able to look at what people are posting. And then Jeffery AI for me is going to be telling me, "Hey, people are responding really well to this. You ought to start adding it." Right. And I'll give you an example of how that's going to work. Let me pull up a PowerPoint that we prepared for some people that were interested in Bimoto. But essentially what it's going to do, it's going to allow for dynamic engagement on autopilot. Now, these are things that are to come. And a lot of you, of course, know what we already have in here. But Jeffery AI has been trained on that instead of just doing tweets for me, it's going to, if I'm following somebody and that person writes about me, it'll give me an alert and say, "Hey, someone just responded or wrote to you. Here's my suggested reply to that person." I mean, that's pretty cool, right? The idea of a lot of these things on autopilot to be able to help you start to get going. Here's kind of how it will work, the learning cycle. That you set up your wizard, you put the content in that you like. It then starts to do predictive analytics on your target market, and then starts to give you different suggested replies. And then it analyzes how people respond to you, so it can go back and improve that content in a feedback loop. I mean, that's exciting stuff, right? Yeah. I'm sorry.
So you're saying, Jeff, that you, like, every time you create a post or an article or something, and you like what it puts out, you put that into your avatar.
I do, and I'll for example, let me show you how I do that. That's a great question, Kate.
Do you have to change the context statement at all to so that it knows, or does it?
Nope, you can if you want to. But right here, what I'll do is I'll send it over to that, but I'll make a change to it before I send it over. So I'll just hit edit message, and I'll just put a short context statement right here. And I'll just say, "This is an example of the type of content that I want to use in this situation." So I'll
So you make it part of
Mhm.
of what you're sending over.
Yep.
Okay.
So it knows why I like it. And as I teach people to do different things with AI, one of the important things that I remind people to do is to talk to it as if it's a child. Maybe it's because I've got 5 kids, but now they're all getting old and leaving. But the thing is that I talk to it the way that I did in a very intelligent child. And I'll give it an explanation of why that's important to do. I think that's why Jeffrey AI understands so many different things, that when it outputs something that I love, I'm giving it feedback to add it to future content. Does that make sense? So if I'm going to be using this, I would just grab it and I would use it. But I would, if I really like it, I let Jeffrey AI know why it's so important.
Because I tried to do one just for me, and
Uh-huh.
it wasn't any of our particular businesses. And I wasn't sure how to do it without going through the 7-day launch. So basically, just write a good context statement that basically says this is all about me,
Yep.
and then upload things like you said, like
100%.
books or whatever that.
I've tried to teach it everything about me, Heidi. And every time I do an output, it scans my files. So when you use an avatar, there's a little bit extra thinking, but it's worth it to me because it knows me. And David, who does a lot of different things with me on social media, he uses an avatar that's trained on me. I know it's really good when I go on there and see what David has been, how he's been interacting with different clients. I know it's really good when I'm not sure if I wrote it or if David wrote it, in the responses to clients.
Do you put stuff in there like what you've done previously in your life, like, so it can pull from there? Like I did a post one day about having a good target market, and I kind of associated it with, I used to shoot sporting clays, and that was a whole nother story, but I kind of made it funny about that. And so would it make sense to like put things like a list, like here's some things I used to do that I don't know, that you could make part of a funny LinkedIn
100%.
post or something?
I train it on me. I train it on my likes.
Okay.
I've put my resume in here, just so you know. So if you look inside of this, about Jeffrey Boyle.
Okay. So you can just create, I could just create a thing that just like lists, these are all the things I've done that were somewhat interesting in my life, and put it in there. Okay.
Absolutely. I've put my business successes in there. I've even put in there some of my failures, because I think that my failures define who I am. I put information about me as a father, as a husband of 27 years, a father of 5 kids. The only
Does
thing
Angela get to add to your being a husband?
No. I put in there my version of what's good in there. But absolutely, I strongly encourage you to train your avatar on you 100%, Heidi.
Okay.
It should know about you. Now that's if it's going to be doing social media for you. One of the things that I have seen, because I am constantly evaluating what works on X, for example, what works on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is still the one that I'm having a tough time figuring out how to go viral on. But I get so many leads from LinkedIn. It's crazy. Small amount of views and replies, but lots of leads on here. But X, I evaluate it and want to know what works very best is, I'll show you right here. If you go into templates, let me go to the main section right here. And if you type in viral tweets, now that it knows me super well, I do humor tweets all the time. All the time. And they work really well. They're self-deprecating failures. They are some of my best behaving or performing tweets. And we're at the point right now where we're gaining about 5 to 12 new followers per day on X. And it has a lot to do with how we're managing it, and the DMs, and how we'll follow some people. If they don't follow us back, we'll unfollow them. But there's certain people we just follow because I get a lot out of it. But if they're not going to follow me back, we've got a strategy with David that a certain amount of time we stop following them if they're not cool enough to reciprocate. But this one right here works extremely well, and it's based upon my failures. So about 1 in 5 of my tweets is about me being self-deprecating. So that it's important for Jeffery AI to know that about me as well. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Let me show you guys right here. These are some of the things, the reason why I really encourage you to start to get some of these fundamentals. If you've never trained a Bimoto avatar, make sure that you can always schedule with someone on our team. We can do it. But here, I'll open up a new screen right here. If you go to bimoto.com, just under e-learning, watch this video right here, training your avatar. Just avatar training. It's really simple to train it. And especially with the 7-day power, the 7-day power launch, this is the most important video because it's super easy to train it compared to a lot of the other ones where it takes a long time to do that. This is a simple way to start to do it. But I recommend a constant process of getting your avatar to get to know you. Because here's the reason. Look, right now, only about 25 to 26% of small business owners are effectively using AI. That's not a very big group of people. And there's a lot of people, a lot of your competitors that simply aren't going to do it. These are the ones that I'm going to start to master within our client base. Of course, chat bots to be able to add, improve some of the customer service, but predictive analytics. Your avatar can analyze large amounts of content and tell you some of the different things that are working and that are not working. I'm constantly, and if you need help with this, I've got a document, but I'm constantly downloading YouTube videos and having Bimoto analyze their content for me. I can take hours and hours worth of content and I can turn it very quickly into, I'll show you this chat that I was working on this morning. So the social media approach to Bimoto Capital, we're now helping people get business grants. So I loaded a lot of information in there and I asked it to give me an overview of what I'm going to do. So I took probably 5 hours worth of videos and I put their content in there and it told me exactly what I need to do from those. I don't want to watch those 5 hours worth of videos. They interested me for the first couple minutes. And then after I uploaded their script of the video into it, it told me how to start to take advantage of all of that information in a short amount of time. So now all I've got to do is just say, great, I like this one. Give me 5 topics on that topic. And it'll enable me to put out a ton of tweets. It'll enable me to put out X or LinkedIn articles. It'll give me topics for my trainings, all of that very, very quickly. Does that make sense? Because all I've had to do is for the Bimoto marketing avatar is upload that content from those videos, ask it a basic question on how to raise money, and now it gives me entire areas of what those files and those videos were about, and then how to reference them to the different resources that Bimoto has. So the more you can train your avatar, the better you'll be at that. So if any of you want to be able to learn how to have Bimoto help you analyze contents of videos, send me a DM or within the Bimoto AI Mastermind WhatsApp. Just ping me and I'll send you a link to the step-by-step of have it analyze videos for you. Thomas, do you mind? Good to see you. Do you mind just hitting mute? I could hear some of the stuff in your background there. Thanks. What questions do you guys have?
One avatar.
Absolutely. I'll show you how many I have. This is for my son. This is for my son. You don't necessarily have to do it, but I've got clients in here. This is for my business where we help American companies do business in Asia. This is for me to do my daily workouts. This is just where I'll load large PDFs and have it give me the information on it. This is for me to do contracts. I've trained it with the contracts I like to do. This, I already showed you what it has about me. This one I could probably delete because it's older. This one is helped me create the 7-day AI power launch. This one is when I help people do business plans. And on and on and on. This one is Naval Ravikant. I trained it on one of the most intelligent guys that I know. He's an amazing entrepreneur, and it now replicates the way that he writes. This one is a guy who's very good at LinkedIn, and this one helps build avatars for your. My answer is yes. I make avatars for every important different niche of my business or my life.
Okay.
So the answer is you could do unlimited ones. These other ones are Spanish related, but the thing that I would tell you is this is a made up company that I test everything with. So I recommend that you have a lot of different avatars, and this is the foundation. If I go back to what I was talking to you about, this is the foundation of once you put things in there, you can then start to take content from your business, put it into it, and it'll analyze trends and optimize your campaigns. There's so many different ways that you're going to have to do this, but the sooner you start to learn some of these basics, you're going to future proof your company. You're going to improve your customer service. And here's the big one. Who has the ability to compete with big companies on here? Answer is you all do. You all do now. We did not. If we go back 3-4 years ago, I can get far more done with far less. And the reason why I focused heavily on what I'm teaching you guys is because of this right here. Using the avatars and training them how to do it, I've reduced my ad costs. So this was the amount that I spent on 1 month of failures. I spent $21,398.73 after paying experts $19,000 to tell me what to do. So I spent over $40,000 and I didn't get a single customer from it. That's not true. I got $200 worth of sales. That was very discouraging. So much of what we are doing is to be able to help prevent you from having to do that. I've reduced, by using these avatars, I've reduced my marketing expense by 80%. Rather than spending over $10,000 per month, now instead of doing meta advertising, I've completely stopped doing meta advertising. And as a result of some of these techniques that we're going to continue to teach you guys, we have far better leads. I get probably 5 times less leads than I did with Meta, but they're so good that my sales have increased despite spending $8,000 less per month on advertising. That to me is why I strongly encourage you to use and implement some of the avatars to be able to grow your business in a very effective way. Well, with that said, I know that I've gone through this, and I strongly encourage you guys to go through and go to bimoto.com and to watch that video on training the avatar, but never stop training that avatar. Never stop doing it. Remove files that are no longer needed. Whenever I bring on a new client and I want it to do it. So with Candy, for example, who's on here, we've been helping Candy. I hope you don't mind me saying this. She has an amazing business idea. Amazing. They work with animatronics, and we have helped her. And I did this, Candy, right before the call. I removed all of your information from my VC avatar trainer, and it was about Candy's business, and it helped me write a proposal for her to get into a program to receive funding, non-dilutive funding for her animatronic business, with a crazy good idea that got her admitted into the program. So, I can train it on everything from personal fitness to business grants to you name it, and enables me to replicate that process very quickly. So strongly recommend that you start to do that, especially as we add more and more features. Our approach really is to help you not just get to know you, not just output good content, but eventually to get it to the point in the very near future with something that we call always on marketing assistance, a 24/7 avatar that provides continuous support and ensuring that entrepreneurs and small business marketers can get the assistance that they need. So an avatar that's analyzing you, that's analyzing your competitors, that is creating personalized content in your tone and style that resonates with your target market, in real-time recommendations telling you what it recommends that you do, so you can improve your engagement, add gamification to it so it's easy to use, and add what are called feedback loops, which means that it learns and gets better, and then it starts to integrate with multiple platforms such as the social media, and then constantly give you an analysis and predictions of what you should do, and then analyze its predictions and tells you where you're falling short and what it can improve and its recommendations to improve it. That's the future, and it's here. That's what we're working on right now to add into some of the future iterations of Bimoto. And it starts with understanding your avatar and training your avatar in a really simple fashion to know about you. So really recommend that you do that as we do some of these trainings in the future, and especially as we add some of these new features that will be added. And I hope that you guys are using more and more of testing out Grok, testing out Claude. And the only place that you can use your avatar is on ChatGPT Mini. But the Grok and Claude, Grok has such a funny personality, and Claude is quirky and fun. Grok just kind of hits you. Grok's a little bit irreverent. But I strongly recommend that you start to learn to use some of these other ones with the templates that we have. So try those out and have some fun with those. But it's really cool to be able to have 3 major platforms all in the same area, and they all can use all of the templates that you have within your library. But future's here. Strongly recommend that you use it. What comments, questions you guys have today? And I know that there's a lot of the future what we're talking about, but there's a lot of present things that I'd love to be able to answer for you and make sure that we're helping you grow your business.
What's security like?
The security?
Yeah.
So
like if you type something in, is it going to go to everybody, or is it going to just stay with me?
Stays with you. So anything that you create,
Okay.
and if you create any of your own templates, this is not going to be seen by anybody, any of the other clients. And we've got, thousands of users at this point on our platform, a lot in Central and South America. You're the only one that sees the content on yours. Okay. Same thing too, when you create an avatar, you're the only one that sees your avatar. Good question though. What else? All right, guys. Well, I hope that you're continuing to take advantage of these avatars. They really, really are cool, and we're going to add more and more to them. If you have questions, make sure that you look online, but always send us your questions beforehand. Make sure you're watching those videos, and I'll encourage you to go to my YouTube channel, Jeffery Boyle, and I'll let you know whenever I output videos. Put your questions in there. DM me within the AI mastermind group. We're here to help you grow your business. We're excited to help you do it. Thanks for being on today.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.